Catherine, let's go through the timeline a little bit. Before this invitation came to Al-Awlaki, the FBI did have some, well, news on him. They did know a little bit about who he was, right?
Well, they did, Jenna. There was clearly a breakdown in the vetting process at the Pentagon. These FBI documents obtained exclusively by Fox's investigative team show that less than 6 months after the 9/11 attacks, when the Pentagon was still smoldering, the American cleric Anwar Al-Awlaki, who has ties to 3 of the 5 hijackers on Flight 77 that struck the Pentagon, dined with military personnel after a Defense Department employee vetted the cleric. The document states, after her vetting, Al-Awlaki was invited to and attended a luncheon at the Pentagon in the Secretary of the Army's Office of Government Counsel. At that period of time, the Secretary of the Army was eager to have a presentation from a moderate Muslim. As for the timing, we know the luncheon happened before March of 2002 because that's when Al-Awlaki left the United States for Yemen, Jenna.
So let's get back to the big point here. Why was he even invited to that luncheon or anything else?
Well, according to the FBI documents, Al-Awlaki was invited as part of the Defense Department's Muslim outreach after 9/11. The Defense Department employee told the FBI and Army criminal investigators, quote, he condemned al-Qaida and the terrorist attacks. He was considered to be an up-and-coming member of the Islamic community. That said, our reporting shows that Al-Awlaki was interviewed at least 4 times by the FBI after 9/11 because of his suspicious contacts with the hijackers, Jenna.
All right, and obviously now, as we mentioned, on the kill list for the CIA, what is the response from the Pentagon?
Well, we had 5 conversations with Gary Tallman of Army Public Affairs, and we asked how Al-Awlaki was vetted, who was at the lunch, were there pictures of the lunch, and the only response we got was, how did you know about this? Separately, I spoke to Tommy White, the Secretary of the Army, in 2001. You'll see him here with then Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld, and he told me he did not remember meeting Al-Awlaki. He told me, quote, I don't have any recollection of the luncheon or any contact with Al-Awlaki. I would not necessarily be there. And in the last hour, Army Public Affairs has promised Fox more information on the luncheon. A spokesman emphasized that this was not an Army event, and it would have to have been sanctioned by the Office of the Secretary of Defense at that time, so we'll be following up with them as well, Jenna.
And we're glad that you and your team did find out about the luncheon, Catherine. Catherine Herridge, great stuff. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.